aiming or peeking. You just don't know it. And Moham's growing, brother. He's been growing. They had Kellen, who's a lane phase enjoyer, bad engaged. They had Bible last year, who's engaged, and he's shitty laner. Now they got Moham, who's a bit of both, bro. Trust me, they're peaking. They're peaking hardcore.
And then, bro, if you say his name cooler, it doesn't make him better. We got Moham.
Moham. Bro, Lucid was dog shit at Maokai and Sejuani. He was fucking bad. Don't you worry. When it's Viego, Jarvan, Orianna, Syndra, DK mid-jungle fixed, you're going to see magic.
Okay, so I have G2, Dom STL, you have DK. I think this is very fair because
How the fuck is this fair? I have the NA team.
I think it's mega unfair. I think it's GG.
I think it's very fair. Dom, you've been saying Tia's gonna beat G2 all year, so let's. And he has DK. I have DK like 10th or some shit.
Okay, but if you guys could choose any team other than Hammerlife, Genji, BLG, who would you choose? Like
to win? Like, who do I think
to
could
go
win?
the furthest. To go the furthest. This is better.
I mean, bro, don't make me choose T1. I refuse to answer this question. I'm not choosing T1.
Because I thought that's where we're gonna land. I thought Dom's gonna T1, I'm gonna go top esports, and I thought you were gonna run back to Weibo, you know? But I thought that's where we're gonna land. But
I lost my faith in Weibo.
Okay. I like where we landed. Is everyone cool? And then we just let the comments decide what the punishment should be.
You'll see when DK makes finals. Actually, you're gonna go
the
crazy.
reward. Okay. Okay.
Bro, I just want to see Kadriel suffer through making a video like the Shy video. Like the Shy video took me so long to make because it's also like you know how
it took you so long because you didn't want to make it. Go on, be honest.
Bro, it took. Once I started making it, it took me like a week. Like just going back and researching. I'm sitting there and I'm like, my fucking old ass is trying to figure out what the Shy combo was. I'm like, wait, is it W auto then? Wait, no, is it flash? Is ER1 then W auto, or is it auto W? Like, nah, bro, this was some bullshit, bro.
You have to do that to get 100k views, but you react to like some Whippo stuff or whatever it was before, where it's the JoJo news, boom, 5 minutes. It's crazy how content works. No, you put in 1 week in a video, it does this. You do 5 minutes of reacting, boom, triple.
Wait, where's the Shy video has 114,000 views. And then me just reacting to the Whippo stuff on stream in 3 days or 2 days has 240. Nice.
It's crazy, man. Content's so stupid.
Nice.
Yep.
No matter how effort doesn't translate to viewership at all.
Nice.
Yeah, it doesn't translate at all. Actually, I feel like this is a good topic to close this off on because that is, I think, a struggle with a lot of content creators is that as a streamer, it feels like it's better to push out a ton of low quality content than small amounts of high quality content. So I think we've all kind of struck the same balance where it's like you try to do the high quality content when it makes sense, and you just understand that will not be as directly like one-to-one effort to, you know, what you get out of it, like, you know, effort to results fruitful as when you just do normal streams and things like this and just co-stream games. But how do you, like, as a streamer, Kadriel, like, balance everything? Because I feel like it is something that becomes extremely difficult because you don't want to put out content that you're not proud of, but at the same time, there is a constant feeling that you have that you need to always be there. You always have to be streaming or else, you know, things will fall off.
Yeah, I do like live with that paranoia of like, I think it's very hard for me to take breaks. Like the longest break I ever took from streaming is like a week, just because I always want to make sure that I'm like streaming or like in the loop, or, you know, people are asking what's scheduled thing, where's schedule, all this stuff. So I always feel like I'm kind of needed to be there. I don't know, this year I tried to do a lot more like fully edited content. I don't actually mind much to the viewership. I can see the viewership of a lot of the rundowns that I did is a lot lower than some of like the easy co-streams that I do. It doesn't bother me too much. I think I'm like a position where I think quality is like really important. And as much as I know that all of the world could be reacting co-stream videos, I just want to make sure that like the earlier videos in the year, like, or in the before the tournament starts, were like highly edited and more quality orientated, even though I know that like it's gonna do really badly, at least. It shows that I'm trying to put the effort in, and I feel like I'm in a position where I can do that right, because the streams are doing well, and it took a lot of time, and it actually costs a lot of money to make like highly produced content, so I wouldn't recommend it for any creator who's like trying to make and grow. I would not recommend putting in money and time like a lot right now in the current sphere of influencing and YouTube and stuff, because React content is just the meta, and React content will always do better than anything that you pre-produce because you can just add in all caps. This person said what? And that line itself will outperform any good produced content in terms of in the league space at least. But yeah, I thought that I may as well just do some of those videos and then we'll continue with the co-stream stuff. But I think that's just what league content is these days. League content is just, whether you're a co-streamer or a solo queue player or anything, it is just either a clip montage, a game you played, or a game you watched, edited out from the stream and slammed on YouTube. And I don't think there's any shame in that. It's just, that's just the way it is, right? It is just low effort.
The Sleeping Duck Component Adapt Customization System. No longer are you stuck with the firmness or comfort of your mattress. This series of high-fidelity firmness pads allows you to perfect the comfort at home for your whole body, or for individual areas like your shoulders, lower back, hips, or legs, for you and your partner. Sleeping Duck, supporting your active life.
But I also think if you're not doing that as a streamer, you're crazy. You should always do that as a streamer if you can find someone to do it. And you have the resource to do it.
Rise is watching this now, bro. They are going to cut everything and they're just gonna crank out We've gone full circle now.
I mean, actually Riot already started doing that, like, and I don't think they're doing a wrong thing, but they're doing TikTok live streams with casters, right? If I pay you to cast Worlds, right, and you're there, I bring you in, I put you in front of a TikTok phone, and I make you watch the game, and you react to the game on TikTok live stream, right? And they're doing that with their casters. And I don't think that's a bad idea. I think they're like going into the meta already a bit. It's just, yeah, produce content for streamers is a bit rough, I think.
I don't know if it's like age, but I couldn't see myself like watching a TikTok stream.
Yeah, people do it. It's crazy,
so foreign and crazy to me, bro.
It's hard to watch, bro. Like I've tried to watch TikTok streams before. Like you can't even like see the fucking game because like things like you have to watch this very like narrow view. So like there's just stuff that you're missing. You can't see like the score. Like they try to edit everything so that you have all the relevant information. But it just feels fucked up, bro. It's like you just want to like fucking grab the sides of the screen and just like stretch it so you actually can see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Crazy, man. I don't know what the future is. Maybe, I mean, there's probably people who watch our streams who have like the Apple Vision Pros on. They're just laying in bed fucking with their glasses on, just watching Dom raging about another game.
They're just like walking around like T1 headquarters in their fucking Google, their fucking glasses, their Pro Vision glasses, and I'm just fucking like in there too in the corner flaming. They can actually beat me up in real life, like when I fucking start saying some shit they don't like. God damn. The new meta, actually.
Yeah, maybe that's
gonna
the world
make
of
that,
streaming
bro.
in the future. Did you ever see? Don't they sell virtual NBA tickets? I swear they sell like virtual sideline
like
NBA tickets. I saw that once. I don't know, it was last year or something.
I think they made it so you can like put yourself in the game in the NBA, where like you just like they take how you look and they like put it over one of your players and it looks like you're the one playing inside the NBA game.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Weird stuff like that.
That's
All right.
very
Yeah,
American.
we're getting old. I don't know what the future of streaming is, but maybe we'll have to grow into it.
Yeah, maybe this is co-streaming won't be a thing anymore. We'll just be like actually on the fucking Rift, like, you know, just dodging the fucking champion abilities too, just trying to like cast from inside the game. It'll be just some crazy shit. Who knows?
Only generous.
But yeah.
Fucking nightmare fuel, bro. Getting ganked in real life. No, but I hear your voice. He's going to ask you if there's something to add. Go ahead, Dom. I hear that. All right.
Yeah, it's time, bro. So this is normally when we end the episode, but we always open it up to our guests, see if there's anything that you really wanted to talk about on this podcast. I mean, we kind of just talked about the meta of streaming. This was a complete meta episode when it came to like League of Legends and streaming
Meta
and everything like that. Yeah, meta and narrative. So is there anything that you came on the show that you really wanted to talk about that we did not get to? If not, we're good.
I don't know. Is there anything actually? I didn't expect this question for me to think of a topic. No, not really.
Yeah, now
I didn't
you
think
have
of
to ask the
anything
question.
specific. I don't think of anything specific to talk about. I think, yeah, I just hope everyone enjoys Worlds and be nice to each other. Don't be fucking degenerates to each other. And watch these guys' content. Watch all their podcasts. I think you guys do great content. I think the Sack Down is like becoming. I actually have watched like not every episode, but most of the episodes, and I like skip through all the timestamps and listen to what the players say. So I think you guys are doing great podcasts and great quality, and you work fantastic together. So I'm a big fan.
Thank you, bro.
Ooh,
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Good
Damn,
messaging
nice.
there as well. Be nice, be nice. I love that shit, man. That's why Kato fans, they got no teeth, man. They're nice. They pet us when they swing by, you know?
What the fuck? Good, I hope so, I hope so. I hope they're not mean. If they're mean, just send me the username and I'll cross-pen them. Like, there was a person who was trying to start drama with Whippo. There was one guy going Whippo strat saying, Kato says you're really like, toxic, being annoying. And my Reddit actually like screenshotted the guy's messages and put it on Reddit and said, this guy's trying to chat hop and cause drama. And I was like, wait, that's perfect. You guys came together, found this username, and now he's gone. Good job. More of that in the world.
Yep.
Nice. More
Yeah, what Kato
policing,
said,
where people report each other. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Report each other?
Yeah. All right. So Casual just wants no anonymity to exist in the world. That's what he is going for here. Perfect.
What's anonymity
Excellent.
mean?
Being anonymous. Like,
Oh, anonymity.
yeah, anonymity.
Anonymity.
What did it sound like?
Yeah,
My
not
American
small.
accent.
I don't know what your accent is. You don't have a Texan accent. Are you growing a
Definitely
Texan
not.
accent?
Definitely not. No, it was just
Miami,
funny because I
baby.
was like, anonymity, and he's like, oh, anonymity, and I'm like, like he just said it British, so that he
It's
understood
the
it.
intonation. It's the intonation. Anonymity? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Maybe that is
Anonymity.
Yeah, anonymity. It sounds
That's
right.
how I've always said it.
Anonymous and anonymity.
How do you say it? How do you say it?
Me?
Yamato.
Anonymity.
Yeah.
Anonymity?
Yeah, he says it American too.
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
Australian. Hey, I'm Australian.
He's the person.
Maybe
that
that's
said
the
it. Anyways.
maybe the anonymity is not who's anonymous, but the friends made along the way. Like, what is the anonymity of the sack? Who is the sack really? That's the beautiful thing. The sack is your own interpretation of the sack. Is it your sack? Is it their sack? Is it my sack? Whose sack is it? Or is it just the sack?
An ally has
That
That's
is
the
my
beauty, I
sack,
think.
but I get what you're saying.
Oh, okay. So it is your sack. So
It is actually just a motto sack. But it was a great way that you extrapolated it and just made it into something very wholesome, because the sack was literally just from Yamato flaming us and saying that we were in his nutsack when he was playing base skin Rumble in LCS. So he was just talking about his own nutsack.
Holy fuck, your sacks come far. People like to put their dogs on Instagram and get them famous. You chose your balls.
My fiance hates it, bro. She really hates it.
I tried reasoning with her. I'm like, please, just let us use Yamato's sack as marketing. Like, we need pictures of Yamato's sack so that we can make actual sacks that are modeled after Yamato's ball sack.
It's the
And she
underwear
was like,
sponsor that.
we actually have one on one of the other shows. We gotta get MeUndies on this show, bro. Like, it's actually the perfect one. But yeah, that's gonna be the episode of the Rat Down. No, like that's a good final place for it. Jumped all over the place. There was actually like no structure for this episode. Normally we have like topics and Yamato and I are messaging back and forth, but this one we just let the conversation carry us. So hopefully people enjoyed the view of streaming, I guess, from the inside. Anyways, yeah, it was a good rant. It was a good therapy session, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Sack Down. Maybe the Jack Down, maybe the Rat Down. Who knows?
No, sir.
Did I just go great? Did I just die?
Thank you,
What the
Mark.
fuck?
You just
And then we
great,
just
bro.
killed Angel at the end. Perfect. Peace.
What the fuck? I just look like I've just been like wasted in GTA 5. What happened?
Wait, it looks like you literally died.
Alrighty.
ally has been slain.
Here's the finals. It's the best time of year.
Oh boy, what a try!
What a game. What a game of rugby league.
A win for the ages.
It's just the greatest game. Use the Force. Turn your tech into cash at sex.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Sackdown. Today we have BB with us. We're going to be going way back, player profile on BB, talking about all the stories that he has, because at this point, BB, you're a mega veteran, bro. You've been playing for what, like 6 years, complete years, and you have a ton of experiences. So let's start with when you really popped onto the scene, because obviously you played in Turkey. You're on Royal Bandits. You're on that team that had, you know, all the homies, you know, the team that had Closer and Abdagi and all these people that ended up going on to bigger and better things. But when you joined TSM, I remember hearing that you were a super coveted free agent. Everyone wanted you at the time. I kept on hearing this guy has 4 challenger accounts, bro. He's got so many high elo accounts and solo queue. This guy's insane. What was that offseason like when you were choosing between going to LCS and LEC at that point?
Okay, so like when TSM back in the day approached me, I was like, oh, it's 100% for the academy, right? Back then, the academy was like much bigger, right? Like a much bigger thing. So I was like, okay, it's probably just for academy, so I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I had some couple other offers. It wasn't like great offers back in the day, but then I was like, I started talking with Parth and Lena at the time, and then they said in the beginning, like, do you wanna, like, we want you to split time with Honser. And then I really disliked the idea of it, because I was like, oh, I think I'm good enough now, you know, to play. And yeah, then it was very quick, everything. I flew over to America to play, and then things started, you know, very fast. For me, it was like a big shock. You know, I thought I was ready to play in EU. I didn't know at the time I was going to play for TSM, which was a very, very big organization at the time. So for me, I was very happy to play with Bjergsen, especially because, yeah, I mean, he was just a legend, right, at the time. So for me, it was like I was very nervous meeting him, especially a young kid from Turkey coming in, you know, playing with the GOAT. So for me, it was very, very nice.
Yeah, I would like to hear more about the Bjergsen point, because you always, like, even privately, you'd always tell me how much you respected Bjergsen. Like, this guy was somebody who you looked up to a ton. So how was it like to really play with him? Was he somebody who was teaching you just the game frequently? Was it just the, you know, the fact that he was so accomplished that you looked up to? How was it playing with
I mean, I think it's rare to find someone like him. Even now, like, after I played so many years of esports, just professional League of Legends, meeting a lot of people, I don't think I've met anyone even close to him. You know, I think he's very, very good and very smart, and he's very emotionally smart as well. I would say I've learned a lot from him, not only how to play the game well, but also how to behave well as a player, you know, and as a teammate. Because I feel like there were so many moments I could tell you that I gained respect, you know, from my side. Like when the first ever split we played, we went to the final, right, against TL, and we got reverse swept, yep. which is already something very, very devastating. But then right on stage, he pulled everyone together and gave us a very, very heartwarming speech, you know. And I think it's tough to do something in the situation where you just got reverse swept, you know, being able to like pull the troops together and say like motivating words, because it's not easy, you know, especially like from my side as well, now that I do speeches and stuff like that. And Yamato, you probably know as well that it's not easy always to find the right words to say, but I felt like he always found like meaningful words, you know, that actually reached you, and especially me, because I'm into that emotional shit, you know, like I care a lot about like good words. So yeah, it was very amazing, I would say, to play with him.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about just leading into that, because at this point, when you guys got reverse swept in finals, this was actually the second time that you got second place, where it felt like you guys really had a chance to win, obviously the other one being in Turkey. So with this placement, like how did you feel about, you know, would you ever get that title? Because at this point, you know, it feels like after this happens a couple times, you might start thinking to yourself, maybe I won't ever get that title. Maybe this is like not meant for me. Maybe I just don't have what it takes. Did you have any of these thoughts, or did you like know that at some point you'd be able to experience success?
Well, I mean, you obviously, like, I think before I placed first, I think I reached second like 3 or 4 times. I'm not quite sure, but you obviously get doubts in your mind. You know, back in the day, I remember when we were playing in TSM, we would always compare ourselves to like TL, and TL was the better team or a very, very strong team. And then we would be saying stuff like, oh, if, like in practice, oh, if this is TL, I can't play, you know? Like if I'm playing against TL right now, I wouldn't be able to play. And stuff like that, which I think nowadays is something very toxic to say, you know? Like you don't want to make someone bigger than you are, especially if it's in your league. But yeah, I mean, it always sounded like we were never the best, always like close second. And for me, like, I would say my career in America was successful, you know, like I don't think I was like super bad in a split. I think I had worse splits for sure, you know, and I had pretty good splits, but like the doubt in my head was like never really there. I always was aiming for the best, you know, and the way we got first place was kind of weird as well. We went from 4th place, you know, through lower bracket, I believe.
Yep.
And then we
Golden Guardians.
Exactly, which we lost first too, right?
Yep.
And then we beat them.
Yep.
And I remember that series I played pretty well. Like with Dragoners, I was talking closer after the series. I remember it was still like amazing. You know, you go into that game 5. I played Camille against Gangplank, which at the time was not a good matchup, and I ended up solo killing him. And then after the game, I remember Parth was like, he was running into the room, hugging me first. You know. It gives you a very nice feeling, and for me it was very sad because the first time I ever won something was
During
like
COVID.
during COVID. So for me, I couldn't feel the power of like the screams and the fans. You know, it would have been very nice, but eventually I won anyway, and then I got replaced.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of things to talk, but believe me, we're gonna get to all of it. So.
What'd you do?
I'm a thief. I want to place your daughter in emergency care.
Keep your trap shut.
Promise me I won't lose her. I need cash to set myself up for Kelly.
Did you do a job for me?
One job.
You're brilliant, Tribe. We'll make a good team.
If you rip me off, I'll kill you.
The brand new series Joan premieres October 1 only on Stan.
From the smallest to the largest gardens, it doesn't matter what your style is, but do your thing here at Bunnings.
In 2019, like we go back to 2019, you have this first split. It's the reverse sweep. People don't remember it. The one where Sven got caught. Like you guys look like you're gonna win game 5. It's like almost in the bag. It's a lock. Then Sven is 1v5 contesting as QSS. He thinks he can threaten Skarner. Smithy catches him. Game completely shifts and you guys end up losing. Then you guys had the jungle swap that came in. So there was Acadian who was playing at this point, and it looked like he was solid. It looked like he was a really good jungler, and because of the fact that Grig was originally the starter and he got injured, you know, one of Yamato's favorite players, somehow Armeo is always brought up. In every episode, we somehow end up bringing up Armeo. It's Yamato's least favorite player. But because like he was promised to be the starter, then he got the spot, then there was this trade-off between both junglers, and suddenly you guys end up playing with Spica in the end. And this is when Spica was really young. This was the first time he ever played within his career. Did this summer split just feel wasted? Because from the outside looking in, it just felt very weird, the whole way that you guys went from being a second place team to swapping junglers throughout the whole thing, going with a new jungler, and then eventually missing Worlds.
Well, I mean, it was definitely weird. I mean, it's always weird, especially if I feel like both junglers are just very different in a way. I think that Armeo now, I guess, was more of a passive guy, just like less talking, I think, if I remember correctly. And Acadian was also just playing different champions, and I think at the time we just decided to go with Acadian. I don't know 100% the reasoning anymore, so I don't want to say something that is untrue, but Acadian was, I think at the time, better, so we stick with it. For me, it was like I didn't really have much of a say, I think, at the time. I mean, I think most decisions didn't come from me at the time. I wasn't really someone
I mean, Reggie
like
seemed
that
like he
big
was...
of importance.
Let me add some context here. So I actually ended up having Acadian on Crackdown like maybe 3-4 years ago at this time, and the way he talked about it, he said that there was just an incident where there was just a walk where, you know, he had a discussion with Reggie. Reggie said, "Hey, let's go for a walk," and then, you know, Reggie kind of just like destroyed his confidence right there. It was just saying like, you know, we're gonna be trying to like swap between junglers, and Acadian, from what he said, was kind of like an emotional player where he just wanted to feel like he's part of the team, like everyone had his back. And I think that was something that what he said was kind of like destroyed his ability to really like be part of the team. It just felt like he, you know, wasn't one of the boys anymore. So like, I guess that would be the bridge into the fall off into Spica. I don't know if that like jogs your memory, or if this
I mean, I definitely do recall that Acadian was emotional. Like, he definitely had very low times where he was playing, like just like he was down and stuff like that. I remember that. And when Spica came in, it was like, I think at the time was like a fresh breeze, you know, like there was just a young guy. He was very similar to me at the time, with like the humor, like it was like just some dumb humor, you know. We were making jokes a lot, very mechanically gifted player. Yeah, it was just fun to be around. I think it definitely helped a lot with the team atmosphere. I feel like there was, like, Acadian is a very, very, very nice guy, you know, to be around. I really liked to be around him. He was very, very nice. Same with Armeo. The difference between them and Spica was that Spica was just saying more random stupid stuff that is funny, you know. and he was very, very mechanically gifted on like the carry champions at the time. I remember the first time we played with him in Scrim, he played like 5 Sejuani games in his academy team, and then he had to sub in for us, and then he had to keep playing Sejuani when he was playing a lot of carries before, which was kind of funny. Like, every jungler has to go through the Sejuani phase. So,
rite of passage.
A bit of a side note I wanted to ask you both, considering that there was like sharing time between players and so forth. Do you guys feel that straight up just having like 6-man roster is just like a big meme? Because like the buy-in of the 5-man group is so important. So I kind of wanted to hear you guys' take, because we all have so different experience. Maybe you can go first, Bibi.
I think, well, I think it can work. It just depends how you want it to work. There's multiple ways, right? There's a way of making someone motivated to be better, right? There's a way of actually trying to use 2 different playstyles, which I think is a bit more on the fake side. Because, okay, if you just let the guy who plays a lot of carries play, then you're gonna draft according to that, and the guy who plays only tanks, for example, I'm just going with the jungle example right now, right? It can be same for top lane, where you play a lot of carries or a lot of just blind pick tanks, right? I think it's very exploitable, especially if you have a 6-man roster. So I'm not really sure what it accomplishes. I never played really much with a 6-man roster. I did with like Acadian, right, and Armeo, but it wasn't really, I didn't really feel like there was a lot of value to it. And that's why I also didn't like the idea of me sharing time with Hanzo when I received the first offer. I mean, I think it can make sense for motivation and like fighting for the spot, but I don't know if it's worth like sharing it.
Yeah. Eventually there has to be a winner. What do you think, though? Is there something that stands out to you besides like the SKT one of past with Bengi and so forth?
I mean, pretty much from what I understand, the way I kind of feel is that there will always be a better player among the two, or at least a player that the team likes playing with more. It will never be just a direct 50-50, and it's not like one of those things where you can actually, you know, like the player who's going to play is on stage, so the enemy team can prepare for both and just exploit, you know, whichever player is going to be the one who, you know, plays whatever style. So I've always kind of felt like having like a 6-man that doesn't play, like having somebody else who's like involved in scrims that kind of acts like a positional coach, I think that could provide value. But having like a direct 6-man roster, I've just never been a fan of it. I've never really heard of it working super well, at least in modern League. I think, you know, maybe before there was time, but right now I don't really like it. I think that there's just going to be a player that ends up being better. It's one of the things I always hate when we watch LPL and we see like a guy who's playing well and suddenly somebody else subs in. It very rarely feels like it's benefiting a team. It's like normally it's just one or the other, right? BLG, they were playing with Shun. Wei came in, they just only play with Wei now. You know, like that's just kind of how it is. It's not like, oh, well, maybe Wei is more of the control style. He's playing the Maokai, Sejuani, Ivern, and then Shun will play the carries. You know, if we need somebody to dive bot level 3, he's gonna play, you know, his champion. So I think that in general, I'm not a fan. I just feel like it'll never be good for the team because the team is not like robots, right? Like people have emotions and people have biases, and I just feel like it's very rare that the other 4 players are going to view both people equally and be able to acclimate to both of them seamlessly.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back of the examples. It's like there was like Whipple seemed to, it's like a fake easy hoon, but that was like a meme in my opinion, even though easy was good. I think like Whipple probably was one of the better ones because he was just so excited to be there. Like if he didn't play a single game at all, he was like super happy to just like observe and like he like added like perspective to very different to the team, and then suddenly he played like AD. I'm thinking back to it like IG as well, like Duke being there was just like, was that just like a whip that they hit on Teshai when the time came? But it is a very strange one because like the buy-in of the team and the buy-in to each other, how you spend time together, I think this is so important. But to bring us back to the conversation of your time in North America, I like to find out the psychology behind reverse sweeps from both sides. There was a series you had against Clutch Gaming. That was a reverse sweep. You slammed 4 Atriox games in a row. If I rip open these wounds, what can you tell us about this one and what your team went through and what you went through?
Well, I mean, I think that series, was it 4 times Atriox or was it 5?
It was 4 straight, I believe. You won 1 and then 3 losses. I think you played against Irelia twice and then another game. I don't remember which one you played against.
Was it? Yeah, I mean, it was like I think we were 2-0 up, and then Huni came in on stage and he pointed at the crowd like 3 more games. You know, there's 3 more games. And at the time I was like laughing and I was like, what is that guy? What is that guy doing? You know. And then yeah, I played Atriox, and I played a lot of Atriox in my career, but I was never really the best Atriox, and there was a reason for that, and it is because I didn't know, as I was in America, I didn't know how much value solo queue is actually giving you. I was playing a lot of random stuff, and I thought, okay, Atriox is so easy. I'm gonna play Atriox, whatever, just give it to me. And I was playing Kalista top lane, Kiana top lane, and all this shit, you know, like hundreds of games of it, because it was fun at the time. And I go into a series, and I play 4 Atriox games. I don't even remember, a lot of Atriox games. Yeah, I played a lot of Irelia.
4 Atriox. 1 Jace game, game 1 you win, game 2 you win on Atriox, 2 more Atriox games afterwards.
Yeah, and then he just kept picking Irelia even though he lost, and he started like, I feel like when you go back into that series, I feel like I was doing poorly, you know, like I was doing poorly against Huni especially. But also one thing that I knew was like lacking was my synergy with Cadian. I don't think I was playing very well with him at the time, and I think that was because the way I communicate with people back then was just bad, because I feel like I couldn't share what I needed to get through the game. And before, when you play losing matchups and you, for example, need an outpush at every, like when you play a matchup and you need an outpush at a specific time, every single time this matchup is being played, I feel like I couldn't communicate that well enough, either in-game or outside of game. So for me, synergy with Acadian was off. I think he was very, very, very good at playing around mid and bot lane, and that was also partly my fault, right? Because I am playing that role. You know, I need to make him understand. And I think that series, at least, the Clutch Gaming series, was a lot of it was my fault of why we lost. I just played the champion I wasn't very good at, and there was also no switch, you know, like I feel like at some point we would have said, okay, game 5, let's just not pick Atriox, you know, as well, because I don't really remember how the draft talks were and like how we were talking about it, but if I play 4 Atriox games and lose 3 of them, at some point I should be the one saying, hey, this is not a good idea as well.
Oh, what?
And, yeah, they reverse swept us. I cried after we lost for like at least 30 minutes. I don't even know how many tissues I used. And Bjergsen was there this whole 30 minutes with me, cheering me up, saying that it was okay. You know, I was very sad. You know, this was going to be my first Worlds. This was going to be me playing against Closer as well, because he ended up playing against the Closer and Armut. And I remember I went to Berlin as well to watch, and it was very sad, you know, seeing them play instead of me. I was quite upset.
Understandable.
Yeah, those ones hurt.
Understandable. I can't relate to being reverse swept by LMQ and not going to Worlds because of it. You know, like that would be sounds really tragic, bro. I don't know what to say. Did Reggie give you a Steve meeting? Did you get a meeting afterwards where you had to, you know, reveal your contract to all your other teammates and, you know, decide whether or not? Okay, all right, okay, good. That was.
I have to say that I mean Reggie was very nice to me in my time in TSM. Like, I know he wasn't maybe the nicest to everybody, but he was nice to me. He was always nice to me. He was. I sometimes didn't agree with what he was saying, especially in terms of like how he was viewing things. I think you could easily disagree with some of the stuff he's saying. He was very strong with what he was saying as well. Like one thing, for example, is he really believes that you need to be able to micromanage your teammates, otherwise you're a bad player. And Sven really disagreed with this, and there was a big fight as well. I don't know if he ever really said it, but they have been like talks, right? But not too many from my side, so I don't really want to talk about it too much.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely some hard talks, harsh talks. I don't know what, I didn't know at the time what was going to happen after, you know, we lost and didn't make it to Worlds, but they wanted to keep me and give me another year, which I was very grateful for. I thought that I could be even better, you know. So.
Definitely. Yeah, so 2020 comes in. Let's start with 2020. So you start 2020. The big thing that people were talking about was, I mean, obviously, like, Hobby came over, but Dardoch joining the team. Dardoch, at this point, obviously is known as mechanical talent, but the big thing is that he didn't play for all of 2019. 2019, he sat under contract. He was in Academy. I believe he was like Optic Academy or something like that. And this was him returning to the LCS. And everyone was saying, oh, this guy is like super toxic. How is he going to function in a team like TSM? So how was it like playing with Dardoch in that first split? Obviously, it was weird. That's when COVID hit. You guys started playing from home and everything. But what was it like playing with Dardoch? Like, what did you feel were his strengths, and was he actually as toxic as people make him out to be?
Playing with Dardoch was interesting. For sure, it was one of the most interesting experiences I've had as a player. Play with Dardoch. I think he is good, or he was